for you.
No, they had a new leader by then, a guy named Jim Canavino, and he was getting frustrated with us because we were still selling Windows. We were still promoting Windows. And look, this was our first antitrust problem. I don't know if you guys know this, is the FTC at the time thought we and IBM were working to divide the market because we had done some positioning. What's Windows good for? What's OS2 good for? We and IBM had done that and then they said, no, you guys are colluding. And that's when we first got attention from antitrust authorities.
This is even before the per processor licensing issue.
Yeah, that came later. That came with the DOJ. This was an FTC case, and they started it in basically 90, just as we were getting, I think 90, maybe 89, as we were getting our divorce. My wife and I were remodeling our house. We were living in a condo. We stopped on a run, used a restroom or something. I pick up the Wall Street Journal, and I read that IBM's divorcing us.
All right, listeners, now is a great time to thank our friends at JP Morgan Payments. You almost certainly have seen Steve's famous 1999 developers chant, which we will talk about with him later in the episode. The ethos, though, of focusing on developers was valid when he said it in 1999 and still holds true today. Like Steve, JP Morgan Payments recognizes that supporting developers is a long-term investment. We've talked about the $17 billion that JP Morgan invests in technology and R&D, and for payments, that means dedicated teams focused on making developers' lives easier.
Last year, we discussed JP Morgan Payments' developer portal. And at a high level, their platform essentially empowers developers to operate securely while abstracting away the complexities of global payments. If you look at the suite of tools available on that platform, the takeaway is JP Morgan has continued to roll out more and more technical solutions to effectively accept, manage, and send payments on a global scale. Their APIs come with all the technical documentation you'd expect, with detailed testing guides and explaining payments concepts to build your application as you scale your business.
So let's say you work at, say, an e-commerce company, for example. You need to restock your products, but your vendor is based in another country. Before any transaction happens, you'd want to use the Validation Services API to verify account ownership and ensure that your payment is directed to the correct vendor. Then you've got to pay them in their local currency, and you don't have time to evaluate multiple solutions and stitch together various APIs. So JP Morgan's single global payments API can help you take care of all that, including multiple payment rails and methods easily.
And that's just one use case. Developers across industries traditionally had to choose between the innovation and flexibility of a fintech and the security and scale of a global bank. JP Morgan Payments is on a mission to eliminate that choice and offer you both. If you're a developer working within a fintech or looking to embed payments within your software, head on over to jpmorgan.com/acquired to learn more about their ever-growing list of APIs. And if any listeners remember the meetup that we did after our Chase Center show, we're actually going to do it again. We're planning another meetup the day after Radio City on the 16th. We will share more details soon in the Slack community, but wanted to give folks a heads up in case you were planning for travel. Evening of July 16th, a great meetup with our friends at JP Morgan Payments.
I pick up the Wall Street Journal and I read that IBM's divorcing us.
And so what does that mean? Walking away from the OS2 collaboration? Huh.
Basically, they kicked you out, kicked Microsoft out, said, we're taking OS2 in-house.
Exactly.
And so you're sitting there. Windows isn't powerful Windows yet. Windows is this fledgling kind of idea.
We still had something called the 640K barrier. You couldn't speak to more than 640K of memory. We didn't break the 640K barrier until I think Windows 3.1, which I want to say was 91 or 92.
So you're on this run. You see IBM is divorcing us. You don't really have confidence in Windows yet. What are you feeling? And what do you think the possible...
Oh, Mr. Wizard! Whoa, shoot! Oh my God, we were so, you could say energized if you like. Scared also works. It's like, oh my God, now we have to confront